Hello everyone, welcome to Beastcast, your number one podcast source for this weekly updates, news, and overall just a great time. I'm your host, Andres Arciga, and this week is going to be a great one. We have a musical guest with us today. His name is renowned throughout the industry, finding success at a young age, putting in the hard work and celebrated over 50 years of successful career. I'm talking about none other than the great Jose, also known as El Príncipe.
Thank you, Brian. It's a pleasure to be here and working with you. I've heard a lot of great things.
Well, I certainly do try. Well, let's dive into it. You were born in Mexico on the 17th of February in the year 1948. You come from a family of musicians. Your father was an operatic tenor, and your mother was a classically trained pianist. I can only imagine what growing up in that world could be like.
Yes, instead of encouraging me, they openly discouraged me from wanting to become a singer because of how small the window of success was.
Maybe as artists, they don't want you to suffer as they did. Would you say you started out your career out of necessity to provide for your family after your father split from the picture?
Yeah, when I was 15 years old, my father decided to form a new family, subsequently abandoning us in the process. This curiously left me to launch my career singing serenades with my cousins Paco Ortiz and Alfredo Aguilar Benitez.
And this was when you were invited to sing for a friend's sister's birthday party, that sister being the executive secretary of Ofren Records, leading you to sign with them and record your first song, El Mundo. In 1965, at this point, you still went as Jose Sosa or Pepe Sosa. That is until you released a new album in 1970, where you presented yourself as Jose.
Yes, that's right. At that time, it was quite common for people named Jose to be nicknamed Pepe. This name never really seemed to grab the attention of people. It was missing something. My father and I share names, so I figured it would be a good homage to him, as he died on June 15th of 1968. And I think this name has more of a kick to it. You know, Jose.
The change came right in time, too, because when you launched the album, La Nave de Olvido, it became your first great hit in both Mexico and all of Latin America. And this year, you just kept skyrocketing. When you performed on March 15th of 1970, you demonstrated your vocal abilities performing La Festival de la Canción in 1970. This performance was very impactful. If you don't mind, I'd like to show a clip from this performance.
Sounds great.
Started at 15 seconds. Can we pause it? This is amazing. A little over 5 seconds and you're just walking on stage. They're already throwing flowers at you. I can't even imagine how this feels.
It's that clamoring and love was outpouring. But what I personally strive for as an artist is silence when you're about to sing. That attention they give you after losing their minds hanging on your every breath.
That's amazing. I had never thought about it like that. Let's keep watching. If you don't mind, I'm just going to jump ahead to 2 minutes and 36 seconds.
No saben que pensando en tu amor, he podido ayudarme a vivir. He podido ayudarme a
Oh yeah, this is my favorite part. We can really see what great voice you had at the start of your career. Here we see you're not even done singing and the audience had already given you a standing ovation. And we see those are more and more flowers being thrown your way.
Yes, it was an outpour of love. You can see my appreciation for everyone. The fans, the orchestra, everybody.
Would this be your breakout moment?
Yes, to the dismay of many, I didn't win that night. I was in third place, but I was the uncrowned winner, the people's champion. I became famous overnight.
That masterpiece became the highest selling and most listened to song of that era to this day. According to Viberate.com, you had 1.5 million streams of El Triste alone last week on Spotify, being your third top streamed song. The titular song of that breakout album, La Nave de Olvido, became your second most streamed song with 1.5 million streams last week. Currently your top song being El Amar y Querer, sitting at 1.9 million streams. What a way to mark the beginning of a wonderful legacy filled with masterpieces after masterpieces. After this wonderful rise, who would have seen that you'd break boundaries, even borders, and have gotten an invitation to record a duet with Frank Sinatra? Do you remember how that came to be?
Yes, Frank. Well, I call him Frank. Frank Sinatra stepped away for a time after his My Way. And at the time, he was putting a lot of focus on his record company and they invited me to record an album under their record and collaborate with Frank. Obviously, I said yes immediately, but the label I was under at the time, that's Arciga Victor, they told me I couldn't go, and they held on to me and wanted me to stay exclusive to them since I had recently renewed my contract. This hit me very hard, as you can obviously understand. I lost.
I understand that, but that couldn't have been the last time you two crossed paths, right?
Yeah, we actually crossed paths twice after that. The first was 4 years after this offer. Sinatra traveled to Tijuana to come see me perform at Flamingos. I was doing a concert and I did an interpretation of his My Way. He didn't come and say hello, but he left me a message with the club's owner. He said, if you keep singing like that, you're going to get hurt. You have to vocalize. So you can imagine how I felt.
No way. I couldn't imagine the feeling. I hope the second meeting went better.
Yeah. It was the beginning of the 80s. I was invited to a party at Frank's house in Los Angeles. There I sang an interpretation of Misty, and Frank clapped and told me, don't forget the success is very beautiful, but it comes with a high price. Me, for example, I'm always locked up. I can't go to the theater, the market, and that hurts. That hurts deep. It does have its compensation, but you can never stop being Jose Jose, the one that goes to the theater with his kids and takes his mother shopping.
Wow, that's great. And you talk about these experiences in your book, Esta es mi vida, published in 2008.
Yeah, that's right. It revolves around my life and career.
It's a great read. I highly recommend it. With a life of success, it's without mention that you also faced your hardships. You yourself have been open about your alcoholism, and have been on the forefront of trying to stop other young folks from going down this path. There's speculation that having this busy work schedule and your alcoholism, it eventually led to the deterioration of your voice. Because of this, your last studio recorded album was Tenampa, recorded in 2001. That album was written and composed by Juan Gabriel, another great Mexican artist. It's a very classic Mexican album focusing on mariachi performances, but after this, you stepped away for a bit. What was that time like?
Well, my problem just wasn't affecting my singing, but also my speaking. When I first lost my voice, I thought of suicide. There was once I intended to just do it, and I put the gun in my mouth, and it didn't work. That was my sign that there was more to life for me. It was a beautiful wake-up call, that it just wasn't my time yet.
That's for sure. Just because this was your last recorded album did not mean you were out of the game just yet. That didn't stop you from continuing to give spectacular performances and being the superstar that you are at performing, where your last performance was in 2012, celebrating 50 years of your great career. You received many rewards and recognition throughout your career soon after, even your own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
It was a wonderful moment for me. In my speech, I was tearing up. I went in 1970 to work for the first time on Sunset at the Palladium. Who would have thought 35 years later I'd be getting a star on the Walk of Fame in a place I love so much?
That's amazing. I just want to say thank you personally from the bottom of mine and all of Latino America's hearts. Thank you for the wonderful music you've given us. Even after your passing in 2019, you gave us another instant classic on the 1st of November of 2004, Aún te echamos de menos. So many artists have thanked you and showed their appreciation, and I personally am always inspired, and I've been working hard to try and sing one of your great songs to pay homage to you. It has been a blast working with you and learning a little bit more about your career. Any last words?
Sure. Love is the only emotion that makes us feel alive. Thank you for everyone for the love and a wonderful career. Brian, I'd like to thank you for having me on the Beastcast. Shout out to all my beasts. My heart is yours. Have a good night, everyone.
And that's our time this week. Catch us next time on Beastcast.
Señores, señores, pronosticamos que va a ser una de las grandes voces de México, José José. José José.
José José.
José José.